Hello, welcome to the first live stream. We're just going to sit here and relax for a few minutes while we wait for Ryan to join. So be patient for a few minutes while we wait for him to connect and a few people start joining. Hopefully they will be with us soon. I've been looking out my window. We have our request sent, so he will be with us momentarily. Hello, everyone.
Yo.
How do I play a little aha from Alan Parker? How you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm all good. Yourself, man? Well, all good considering.
Yeah, obviously, in pretty trying circumstances right now. I think it's a great time to do the live stream. I think, to be honest, very interesting timing with Boris's announcement yesterday, what he said.
Hey, it's all good.
To have the live stream set for today. So, I mean, going straight into the COVID, how do you feel about... actually, first we should address Xander obviously can't be here. He can't get to you because obviously he's in lockdown in his house. And we're all respecting the COVID rules and we're all in lockdown. So he's going to be on the show next week, 1 week from today, which will be cool because he can catch up with what we've been all saying, what you've been saying and that.
Yeah, that's cool. That sucks because obviously I can't go see him in practice. So that's a real fucking bummer. Because, like, we want to practice all the time, especially with Slime Lord as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we can't really do that. Oh, he's in the chat, though. Hello, Xander.
Big up, Xander. I think somebody said, a few people have said hello already. Lewis and that. But, yeah, that is a shame that we can't practice in these times. Obviously... You have a full setup at home, don't you? So you can still practice your drums. Obviously, it's not the same.
I went and got today to take them home because I don't know how long it's going to be before I can go back to where we practice.
Yeah.
But I guess that's how I'm going to spend my time, at least. I'm just going to kick back and practice. Try and get outside as much as I can. But it's all right. I'm fortunate enough to live in the countryside. I don't know how you handle it in London and stuff.
Well,
like, for me, getting out and about is like kind of easy.
Yeah, I'm in Telford at the moment, so I'm staying with my mum, which is obviously like Midlands, west of Birmingham, middle of nowhere. So I went on a walk today just to get a bit of exercise, and there was no one about. Nice countryside. I saw some fucking donkeys, man.
That's sweet, man. That's fucking. I don't see donkeys at all. There's a sanctuary near here though, but. Fuck knows, man.
But, I mean, can you maybe take this as an opportunity to write material? Or is that something and do together live in the studio together?
That's something, especially with Cryptic stuff, that's like what we're trying to do together. So that's kind of a loss for us because we can't get together. I mean, Xander's got some stuff in the works, so if we can get tabs over, I guess it's fine. Like, we can work around it. But I think it's going to be a while until we're all together, especially with Slime Lord, because obviously Andy works for the NHS. He works in, like, infectious disease research, so he's kind of, like, been pulled onto the front lines, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I don't know, he's kind of keeping to himself for good reason.
But I mean, massive gratitude to him. You know, he's doing service in a time of need, really.
Yeah, brave, man. It's brave work. It's cool, though.
And then he's going to have to, take it very extremely isolating himself.
Yeah, sweet.
But, I mean, I suppose in this time, I think practice as much as you can. And when you can, maybe just send as much tracks as you can between you and try and work digitally. Yeah,
it's the best way. Like, thankfully, the record's coming out still. So we've got, like, time to plan towards that.
Yeah.
Which is cool. That's a bit of a hindrance because... I don't know right now if we're going to be able to do release shows around the time of release because obviously it's going to come out in early May, which is like more or less in a month's time.
Yeah.
So if this like lockdown stuff's gonna last like 12 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be like September, maybe, because obviously like there's figuring out when things go back as normal. Then there's actually booking the shows, promoting the shows.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Right now it's kind of like, I don't know. Because like we had a lot of shows booked in a Temple of Boom that have all been, well, Boom Leeds now. But that's obviously been pushed back to dates that we don't even, well, most of them we know what's going on, but then no one really knows when this kind of thing is going to stop. It kind of sucks because it seems that music is pretty much, oh, cheers, Danny. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about this cap, to be honest. But it just seems that, like, I don't know when this is going to stop, when we can start playing shows again and stuff.
Hopefully that it's over soon, but it might not be, and that's the problem. We have no idea, and frankly, I'm in the same fucking boat. We was planning on releasing our LP in July, and we had some shows booked. Yeah, obviously we had a show booked with you, and it's like, I haven't even bothered saying, should we reschedule a date for that, because what's the point? At that point, we're just fucking guessing. We just need to wait. Get fucking tides over, and then I suppose we're gonna sort it out and rearrange a tour, and that's when we'll do it. We'll probably, I don't know. It depends how serious it gets, because obviously it's a lot of it for us. It still needs to be recorded.
Oh yeah, it's true. Like if you're stuck out of getting to like a studio or anything like that. You work at that? Is the studio you work at closed?
Yeah, it's officially closed now by the government, and they gave it a grant. So we're happy with the grant. Means it's going to stay open. There will be a studio to go back to, which I was a bit worried about for a period of time.
That's like the position we're in a boom a little bit. Just like there was a period of uncertainty, but it seems that moving forward, they've put things in place that can keep us afloat. So sweet. Hopefully it works out.
Still might be able to like record the album in some kind of mega quarantine situation. Like I'll be living with Jake, who owns the studio, so I'll be able to have contact with him. But maybe one by one, we can have the guys and Jake in the studio, and like I don't know, Jake will be in the mixing booth. He doesn't even need to be in the same room as Franny. He can come in and do the drums. It depends how serious it is in a few months. We might be able to record it with no problems. We might have a couple months delay, but we're just going to have to see how it goes, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so, man. Like, do what you can with the circumstance and stuff. If anything, it gives anyone a bit of time of, people in the art, creative stuff. Like, just, if you've got spare time to just crack on and practice,
Yeah,
or learn something new. Like, I'm going to try and get into, like I have an interest in getting into like jazz drumming and stuff. So, but that's like alien as fuck to me. So I don't know if I'm gonna try and do it.
Franny up, Franny used to play in a jazz band. Like when I first met him like 4 years ago or something, and I went to see him play live. So he knows a bit about jazz drumming. Next time you see him, talk to him about that.
Yeah, it'd be cool talk, man. What's going on in the chat, man? Thrash is not dead, Callum. Thrash. It's in your fucking name, dude. Is that Lee Lewis? We'll probably come to Scotland at some point. It's at least in Glasgow. That'd be sweet. But again, it just depends on when we're allowed. Boulevard Christian. Bono, I don't like Shakira. Anything else we've missed? The truth is out there, Xander. We'll get to that. So that's sweet.
Fuck, there was something I was going to ask you, and now I forgot because we got distracted by the question.
It's cool, man.
We were talking about controlled environments. How are you going to spend your time other than practicing with music? Because obviously, as much as we want to be a machine and practice, 1 billion hours a day, that's just not doable. So we all end up with like quite a lot of time in the house now. And what are you planning to do? Are you sitting with the VHSs Are you doing exercise? You know, how are you staying sane?
I'll probably try and get enough exercise in. I like going outside anyway and going for walks. So if the weather's permitted, then I'll do a bit. Like I said, I'm not really limited, thankfully, to a confined space when it comes to the outdoors because I live in the country. So, like, I got just surrounded by woodlands and stuff, so I can kind of just get out and about without getting worried about any hassle. Andy's just said Disney Plus, which I'm not going to pay for, but regarding watching Star Wars movies and stuff like that, yeah, there's probably a good enough excuse to cram another session of the first 6 in. That'd be sweet.
What the first 6 of what? And what the
Star
fuck
Wars.
Oh yeah. All right.
Disney Plus has got I think it's got all the Star Wars movies. It's got all the Simpsons episodes.
Yeah.
All the Disney stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what else is on there. It's not on there.
I've got I've literally got all the first 8 seasons of Simpsons just on my hard drive because everything after 8 is whack.
Yeah, I agree. The movie's pretty good though.
Huh?
The movie's pretty good. I don't know if that was after 8, but I enjoy watching that. That's ridiculous.
I don't know. I think I watched it when it came out, and that was about it.
Yeah, just probably listening to. I don't know. I'm gonna try and listen to new stuff. John Riley's getting me into jazz fusion stuff. So I'm just jamming out, trying to broaden my horizons a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to do exercise. I've been going on Telford has it's not mad woods. It has a little bit of countryside, and I can get out, so I can go out for a little walk. You know, maybe 15, 20 minutes. How loud is that music for you?
It's not too bad for me.
You know what it is, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
I think we're releasing another single on the 7th of April, so that should be pretty fun.
Which track?
Petrified in the Hypergean Gal.
Track 2, the intro track. After the big 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. That's sweet. You've been scouring over the track listing, man, making sure you get it right. That's sweet. It's going to be good, man. I like
how you broke down track 1 into parts as well. And
that's all Xander's doing, man.
I'm speaking to Xander about that. I'm speaking to Xander about that next week. And, I've spoken to him, obviously, with you about the whole story of the 20-minute thing in the documentary that I was building. Obviously, that hasn't been released. People haven't seen that. So I think that's... we're going to talk about that again.
Yeah.
We'll find that really fucking interesting because the story that he's got there is awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff, right?
He should write one thing, a little sneak on the questions for next week for Xander. I want to know, he should make a fucking RPG book thing because we was talking about my bassist had given me one at the time. And they're so much fun, and he used to play them when he was a kid. And, he's really good at writing, these stories and shit. So he should fucking write one of those books. That'd be so sick.
We're thinking of doing something similar to that, but online. We just need to figure out the logistics of it.
Yeah.
A chatbot or something like that.
Yeah.
Which would be cool. But I don't know if or when that's going to get sorted. Oh, man, I'm trying to fucking open a can with one hand, and it's taking a piss.
It's really hard to keep up with the comments while I'm talking. It's mad.
It seems to just be Bono chatting shite.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie.
If John gets you into jazz, then John into metal. Okay. Premium Snap. What the fuck is that? I don't know what Callum's talking about, Bono. So.
I don't think John Riley's in this.
What fucking way, mate?
John Riley's never seen Star Wars, allegedly.
What?
I think he has, but he's not. He doesn't go on about it like he should.
Yeah.
The first weekend where Josh came and practiced, every night me and him just stayed up and watched Star Wars movies till 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was pretty fun.
I mean, do you like them all? Are there some that you don't like?
I don't really like 7, 8, and 9, the recent trilogy.
Yeah.
They didn't really do anything for me, to be honest.
Yeah. I think they're
Star
Wars,
but
I stopped watching them. I can't even remember how many I watched, but I went and watched a few of them at the cinema, and every time I watched it once at the cinema, and I never watched it again. I was like, that was shit.
Yeah.
I was like, that was fucking shit. I was like, yeah, I'm out. And then people, like, I think you guys love this new, like, is it an animated Star Wars thing?
Xander's really into the Clone Wars animated series.
Yeah. I never even gave that a try. But, I mean, in terms of 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, like, 4, 5, 6 are the best. But, like, everyone hates on 1, 2, 3, but I like them. I still like them.
I think I prefer the prequel trilogy. I don't know why.
You prefer the prequel trilogy? See, like, I have a really big problem with, like, special effects. So, like, I love the way that 4, 5, and 6 look. But, like, 1, 2, and 3, like, when you watch them in, like, the order of release, it was, like, so much prequel story, and it was, like, holy fuck, like, come from all this, and, like, I don't know, it got me really gassed, like, all this prequel story. So, for me, it was much more of a story.
That's sweet.
I didn't like the fucking mega robot motherfucker.
The what?
Can't even remember what it was called. The robot with bare arms.
General Grievous.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, he's sweet, man. Nah, I think it's just
I don't like the way they're animated.
Those were the films that were out when I was growing up, so I guess I think it's more so because there was like video games as well associated to that trilogy, so that's kind of what I was most exposed to. So.
I think that's why I like them as well. I mean, I grew up at the same time, so I think, if I grew up earlier, I probably wouldn't like them at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk more about sci-fi movies in general.
Sweet. What do you want to talk about? Did you enjoy Fifth Element last night?
Oh fuck yeah! I love that movie so much.
It took me a while to get into it, man, because
for real,
it's kind of goofy, right?
It's so whack, but like
I've never seen it, and I got the VHS, and Andy and Xander were like, "Oh, it's the best film ever," and I was like expecting like some like super serious sci-fi movie, and it was no. I was just like, "What the fuck is this shit? Like, this is terrible." But I've seen it like 2 or 3 times since then, and it's all right. Like, I kind of like it.
Oh man, for me it's like a real early one. Like I had that on VHS when I was a kid. Like my brother and my pal really liked it. So like, I don't know. I just thought it was fucking awesome. Like everything about it was just so mad and like.
Yeah, they are in the chat. Sorry to cut you off. They're going on about Fifth Element again, both of them.
Huh?
They're going on about Fifth Element again. Fifth Element. I don't know.
Yeah. Xander's backing me up. Yeah, okay, cool. Everyone's backing me up. Yeah. No, it's fucking sick. And, like, the way the city looks and, like, I don't know, everything about it. It's, like, he's, like, Taxi Driver as well because he's so fucking pissed off at the beginning. Like, it's a great movie.
Fair enough. I'm not really, like, for me personally, my personal taste on sci-fi movies is kind of, like...
You like more serious stuff and more.
I like the more real sort of thing. By that I mean like stuff like Close Encounters. And there's a film called Fire in the Sky, which is based on a true story.
Sorry, which one?
Fire in the Sky.
Okay.
So like that's like based on a true story of some guy. He's called Travis Walton, and I think it was in the 60s. He got abducted by aliens allegedly, but he'd taken like. Everyone in the chat's going on about Event Horizon, which I've never seen. Waterworld is pretty good, though. There's a couple of Waterworld.
Bro, everybody hates on Waterworld, and I've got mad things to say about that, because I fucking love that movie. That's another one I had on VHS when I was a kid. And, like, just, like, I don't care.
I've got VHS now, actually.
Yeah, damn straight. And fucking, like, I don't care about anything about the movie, the concept alone is good enough for that movie to be amazing. Like, the dirt is value, and the fact that, like, everything's flooded, like, is such a cool concept for a movie. Like, I really fucking love that movie. Like,
yeah. I need to check it out again. I remember seeing it. I think we were on tour or something, and I was either half asleep or very stoned, and just been like, "This is the weird. This is like the dumb." Actually, I think I was in Bristol, in Jay's house after a show at some point. I don't know. I just remember walking in and being like, "What the fuck is this film?" But that was pretty good. Xander said Mad Max. I'm not really too into Mad Max.
Mad Max is cool. If I'm honest, I actually got into it because one of my colleagues took me to see the first new one, and then I went back and watched the old ones, and I thought it was cool, but I feel like I watched it too late. Like, I was a bit too old when I watched it, and like, it wasn't proper, like, I don't know, part. But it is fucking cool, and it is a really cool settings, and like in the new one as well, like the way that they smashed up those cars for real was fucking awesome.
I've never seen it.
So basically, like, you know how the cars look in Mad Max. Yeah. So in like the new movie, or at least the first of the new movies, they had like all those cars. They fucking made them for real, and then they drove them. And when they, like, crashed and exploded them, they just fucking crashed and exploded them. So there's, like, no fucking special effects, and you can watch, like, there's probably, like, some minor special effects or some shit, but, like, you know, you can watch the behind-the-scenes footage of them driving these mad fucking cars and just blowing them the fuck up. So, like, that aspect of the film I thought was fucking awesome, for sure.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Trying to think of other films that really mean a lot to me, but I don't really speak about too much.
That you said, like, you don't really like mad films and like less serious films, because I really like the weird films, like Terry Gilliam. Comes from Monty Python, but then he come over and he did like Brazil, and then he did like 12 Monkeys, and 12 Monkeys obviously a bit like more serious. But have you seen Brazil? Because that's just
no.
It's so fucking bizarre. It's like really, really sick concept of a movie, but like there's so many bizarre like comical aspects to it, and it's very like Monty Python-esque. Like I'm not sure if you would like it, if I'm honest, but I'd be interested to find out, because it is so cool, and like the intro is just so fucking brutal, because like it's just like a family and it's Christmas and the government come in, but like they like drill a hole through the ceiling, they drop down through this pole, they're all in like SWAT team, and they put this guy in like a hooded suit, and it's like a metal collar, and he's like chained, and he gets like dragged away on like a fucking, like a reel. It's just mad, and they like arrest him without any say and then leave. And then it's fucking awesome. See, that's my brother. He knows this fucking sick movie. More films that are like more likely you would like though. Stargate SG-1.
Yeah, that's a great, like the Stargate film and then the series. I could never really get past the first couple of series of Stargate SG-1, but I think that's because there is so many of them that I kind of give up, because I must have spent like a couple of weeks watching it.
Yeah.
They're like one of the only series I've got into that I can keep watching is like X-Files, because I love that. But again, that's because it's got that like reality edge to it. It's set in like present day, and like, you know, it's like, oh, this could be. I'm a bit of a skeptical guy, so I'm always like, well, this is plausible. Like, this could happen. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But obviously, when the film's set in like some far away, distant landscape, like I'm not shitting on that, but like obviously I fucking love Star Wars, but that's completely different. I don't know. It's just kind of difficult. I guess that's why I like Aliens as well, because that's kind of stripped back, like the Alien series.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing too ridiculous. It's kind of like, oh, this is what it's like in the future or whatever.
Yeah.
On the ship in space, you know, just going around random fucking planets and stuff like that. Firefly.
I never watched it.
Nah, me neither.
Disappoint the people there on that one.
Yeah, it's only Xander. He can talk about it when he's on.
Xander, Amy, and Jeff, they all think that Firefly is sick, so maybe we should check it out.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. I've never heard Xander go on about it before, though.
So I was watching X-Files and I really, really liked it and I downloaded it all. But I got distracted by the Twilight Zone because I downloaded them both at the same time.
Right. I've never seen the Twilight Zone. I don't know too much on it either.
Oh man, I think you'd like it because it's totally reality, but what if?
Right.
And it's like, you know, you must have seen like the rip-offs of like, you know, Twilight Zone, like even in Futurama and shit like that.
Right. I'll check it out, man. I think it's one of those series where it's like I've never really had any reason to watch it, but that's just because I don't really know much around it. You know, obviously like Firefly or whatever, I'll have a clue what that is. But
man, you definitely like it. It's black and white, but like you totally
that's sweet.
Get used to it really quickly. And like, I don't know, so there's a lot of episodes and some of them are hit and miss, but some of them are like some really cool like sci-fi concepts and like some really cool twists where like you're pretty fucking confused for like the whole episode, and then at the end you're like, holy fuck, like what the shit. And then
sounds sweet.
And it's like, you know, it's the whole concept is just like it's glimpses of people's encounters with the Twilight Zone, and the Twilight Zone is just when anything in the universe starts to act a little bit odd or a little bit out of order. So it's like modern day, but some things start like a guy goes to a town and then he just can't leave the town or something like that.
Right.
You know, but it's really cool.
Hey, it sounds interesting, man.
If you don't have access to it, I can like, I don't know, transfer it to you or something like that.
I can probably find a way of watching it, which is cool. I watched a film recently on Netflix called, I think it was called Dark Skies. Or Darker Skies, I'm not sure. But that was pretty cool because the premise was, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like some family have kind of been like haunted by what seems to be like a ghost or something, like something's like fucking with them in the house and shit, and then it turns out that the child has like been chosen to be abducted by aliens or something, and there's just like it's kind of like your typical kind of like jump scare paranormal film.
Okay.
It had like an alien twist on it and stuff, and it was about how like I won't ruin it for anyone, so but that's worth checking out. I think it's still on Netflix, but I'm not too sure. But I've been watching like a load of there's a lot of films going on at the minute on Netflix that are kind of sci-fi in a way. Like I watched one, I can't remember the name of it at all, but there's like the whole premise was there's these aliens on Earth that are kind of like just predator creatures, but they're like bats to some extent, where they have really enhanced hearing, so everyone has to be like really silent and stuff, and like the whole film's like more or less silent throughout and shit like that. And then as it progressed, shit goes on. I'm not going to ruin it for no one, but I'll try and remember the name of that. The Thing, Callum, great film.
The Thing is obviously amazing. Before we say that,
I love John Carpenter stuff. So
Connor said Rod Sterling. List some of his films. I don't know what films he's done, but yeah, obviously the
Quiet Place. That is the film. Thanks, Lydia, for that one. Yeah, that's the one.
Sick. Fucking John Carpenter, man. Oh my god. The Thing is like the best. It's not even a horror movie, but it's the best horror movie ever.
I love Kurt Russell, right?
They Live, man.
They Live like, sweet, yeah. That's like one of my favourite films.
Fuck, bro, how much I love that movie is ridiculous. Like the glasses, the fight scene in the alleyway when they just out of each other for like 10 minutes and it just doesn't stop.
It's fine. It's good, man.
The way the aliens look like in that movie.
Yeah, they look like kind of like Mars Attacks aliens.
Yeah,
that film's ridiculous, man. The Thing reboot. Yeah. What the fuck?
Xander. I'm not even watching it, man. The reboot. Jeez.
I don't know if I've seen the reboot.
Man, John Carpenter, Escape from New York, but, like, most importantly, Big Trouble in Little China is, like, I watch this with my housemate, like, every month, sometimes more. Like, it's actually fucking ridiculous how much we watch this movie. It's, like, I post it on my story quite a lot when I'm watching it, but, like, I watch it even more often than that. I mean, do you love this movie?
What, Big Trouble in Little China?
Tell me you love this movie. Don't tell me you haven't seen it.
I like the film.
You like it? Okay,
I've not seen it enough times to, like, validate loving it, but man,
it's like, so when it come out, it was just like the shittest movie ever. Everybody was like, "What the fuck?" And, like, you totally understand why. Watch it again, like, watch it tonight or something. You've got time in quarantine, but, like, it's like every moment, like, you are just like, wait, what the fuck? Like, all of a sudden this happens, and all of a sudden this happens. You're like, it just becomes so fucking bizarre. And the Raiden looking fucking ninjas are awesome. He has like this blade that's like, oh, fuck it, I can't explain it. Just watch it. He has a ridiculous weapon that would just cut his own fingers off. It wouldn't hurt anybody else. You know what I'm talking about when I see it. But yeah, John Carpenter is fucking awesome. Another great director is David Cronenberg.
Right.
Do you know any of his movies? The Fly is like one of his most famous.
I think I've seen The Fly. Is it like the horror film?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a horror movie, but it's also like a sci-fi movie because he's a scientist and he makes a teleporter. And
yeah, I've seen it. I remember being terrified of the Simpsons episode about that as well when I was a fucking child, man.
Yeah. That's a classic episode.
But I've seen The Fly. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. There's also like the early version of The Fly. I can't remember what year it came out now, but it was like, I don't know, the 50s, and it's absolutely hilarious. Like the costume for the I'll try and get it up. Other movies he's done, Existenz and Videodrome.
Videodrome, sweet.
Yeah, that was a David Cronenberg movie.
Sweet. Yo, Xander, is the Thing prequel, not prequel, the reboot, is that like early 2000s? Because I'm kind of thinking that maybe it came out in the past 5 years, and that's why I'm kind of laughing. But if it's the one from the early 2000s, I kind of remember it. And I kind of remember there being a PS2 game around it, and it was fucking terrifying at the time. Connor, maybe you can answer that, because you was giving it a +1.
Giving it the +1.
Yeah.
Was there an even earlier?
2013.
Yeah, man, they're making like, that's whack, man. They're making like RoboCop again. They made that. They made like, oh, how many times?
There are no fucking line in it.
It's just it. Right.
What's everybody saying on the idea of a Star Wars New Hope reboot? That'd be sweet. No, it wouldn't. I'd probably hang myself. But,
there we go.
Like, that'd be pretty funny.
Look at this geezer.
That's from, like, the 50s, right?
Yeah, this is the 1958 version of The Fly. It's pretty fucking funny, man.
A lot of good details gone into that suit, man. Couldn't be doing no CGI back then.
There we go. Starship Troopers.
I seen it a long time ago, but I've not seen it in recent times. Yeah, no. I've been slack. I've been watching, like,
I'm going to send you
the same film over and over again. Like,
I'm going to send you a list after this video of just all the movies.
Yeah, stuff I need to catch up on, man.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome movie. It's Luke's favorite movie. Every time that you ask him what movie do you want to watch, he says that movie, and we watch it. I watched it twice in a row before with him. Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I don't mind Planet of the Apes. There's so fucking many of them, though. I don't really recall which ones I remember too well. And I think, did they not reboot them all as well? Yeah,
so there's the reboots of all of them, which is the ones that most people know, like today. But then there's the earlier versions, and there was 5 or 6 of them, I believe. And man, they're fucking amazing. They're so, like, some of them are so shit, and it's just hilarious. Yeah. Like, the first one is the pinnacle one, the amazing one that you would have seen, and it's got the classic scene at the end. But then the sequel to that movie, it starts, like, directly where that movie finishes. And Kurt Russell, like, walks around the corner, 5 minutes go by, and he, like, leans on a rock, and he just falls through the rock. And there's no explanation for this. So, like, me and Luke are high as fuck, like, thinking, let's marathon Planet of the Apes. We watched the first one, and then the protagonist just fell through a rock. And then this Kurt Russell, like, fucking other dude lookalike is then the protagonist for, like, most of the movie. Mm-hmm. Then Kurt Russell comes back, right, and they find out there's actually humans living in a secret church, and they're worshipping, like, this nuke. And then they take their skin off, and it turns out they're all aliens, and then Kurt Russell nukes everybody. Right. And it's like, how the fuck is this the sequel to Planet of the Apes? It's like, oh my god. It's like the most mind-blowing. I was like, I thought I was fucking on acid or something, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like that was written on acid.
Yeah.
Like,
it's ridiculous.
Very drastic.
It is cool. It does loop back around, and like the 6th movie eventually means that it's a paradox, and you just go round and round and round and round. But one of them is this weird, like, rom-com movie where the apes are, like, on a shopping spree in London or New York even. And it's just like, oh, man, it's bizarre. Dark City is a fucking sick movie.
That's sweet as well. I got that on VHS recently. She's quite
you like
nice.
that?
Dark City, yeah. It was
I wasn't sure if that was a bit too weird for you, and it's not. It's cool. Not so alien.
I got one called
They're kind of
Star, and that's a John Carpenter film. But I've not seen it yet. But I've heard it's like a piss take of, like, 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah, it is.
All right, okay.
It's kind of hard to watch, if I'm honest with you, because it's quite old, and like a lot of the jokes will be lost on you and me, if I'm honest. But I mean, probably watching 2000 Space Odyssey right before you watch it might help. Like, it's been a while since I watched that movie.
Yeah, me and Xander watched 2001 not so long back, and that's like a super fucking batshit film, man.
It is fucking sick.
Like, it's pretty good though. But I like all the silence in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's always pretty sweet. It's kind of makes it a bit more overwhelming and stuff.
But it's like David Lynch is all about, like, having the reason why Twin Peaks is so sick. He said, like, it's really important to have, like, these non-essential scenes. Like, modern cinema and action movies are like from go next scene to next scene, action, everything is happening. Whereas David Lynch was, like, very insistent that there would be shots where people walking across the room or, like, getting up out of a chair, and it just allows, like, time for dialogue or, like, certain actions to kind of, like, set in for the viewer, and to give you kind of, like, time to think about it, instead of it just being, like, so fast paced. I think there's a lot to say to that, and, like, I think there's a lot to learn from older movies. Big up Tarantino is obviously amazing.
Where you going, Cam? Why you need 20 minutes for?
Fucking pursuit.
Everyone watching's got to stay up now because Camp Light's coming back in 20 minutes, apparently.
20 minutes is when it finishes. I don't know if he's left, but what a fool.
Bless him. I'm just looking at my tapes, been like, what we not spoke about.
Red Dwarf.
I don't mind Red Dwarf.
Again,
I never got too much into it because I never give it too much time. That's a lie. Maybe like 6 years ago I got into it a bit.
Yeah.
But I haven't. Planet Terror, that's the ridiculous one. But
fucking ridiculous.
Is Planet Terror the one with that chick with the like
with the gun on her leg?
The gun on the yeah,
and the stupid virus and everything.
Oh, what the hell?
It's fucking awesome movie. The most ridiculous movie is when she uses the gun, right? She uses the grenade launcher to, like, jump over a really high wall.
Yeah, like a boost, right?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, man.
Oh, good. I'll tell you what, we talk a lot about old movies, but Primer is a movie that came out in 2004 and is now considered like a cult movie. It's really, really fucking cool. It's like just about it's got like maybe 5-6 people in the cast, but it mainly features like these two guys, and it's really heavy dialogue, and I can't tell you what it's about because in a way you don't really know what it's about until a certain time into the film. But that's a movie I'd massively recommend because a lot of people haven't seen that. It's still not kind of like, it's becoming, I think it's either becoming a cult movie or has become a cult movie in recent years or something, you know. But that's really fucking cool, and it's very real life. It's like, but it's very real life. It's like these guys are on Earth, like they have office jobs at the beginning, and you know, they're kind of like working on a project basically at the beginning. But that's really
over, man. I'll check that out.
Primer, man, definitely.
I'm not really too much into a lot of the modern stuff.
Neither am I, man.
I don't know why. Like
it has no atmosphere.
Maybe I'm like forgetting things that I've watched, but I don't know. I tend to just return to like the old stuff. Like there's like there are great movies that have come out, you know, in since 2000 to this year. I'd say there's been fucking like a whole bunch of great movies, but like there's been like fucking loads of shit movies as well. Like, and I think the amount of shit movies has become overwhelming. And I don't know, the gems are few and far between now, I kind of feel. Nah, I completely agree, dude.
And when they are good, they're good for an entirely different reason. I feel like there's a certain thing about a movie that was made in the 90s and the 80s, a certain feel and a certain atmosphere that I feel when I watch those kind of movies that is never, you can't recreate that anymore. So I mean, like, there are good movies, but you know, I don't know, I do stick to older ones, to be honest.
Ah, sweet, man.
The Running Man.
Running Man.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's pretty good, man.
That's
I enjoy all that shit, man. Like Schwarzenegger films and that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger films are so fucking sick. Arnold
I was going to bring up Total Recall, man. I fucking love that movie.
Oh,
like
so
when they get blasted out on the surface at the end and the faces just scream. It's one of the best.
And, yeah, man. The like
that film's ridiculous, man.
The sea that they go to, just Arnie in general. Arnie as an actor is just so fucking hilarious.
Have you seen him in Twins, the comedy film with Danny DeVito?
Yeah. I've seen that as a kid. I forgot it even existed.
That's a classic, man. Like,
I watched The Last Action Hero. That's one that I used to watch when I was a kid. It was obviously kind of crap, but it was kind of good in a way. But Running Man
True Lies as well.
Cool.
True Lies is fucking great action film.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that film. But no, it's all good.
Terminator. I don't know. It's hard to choose a favorite Arnie film.
I'd probably be Total Recall, man.
Yeah.
Total Recall is great, man. It's like one of my favorite sci-fi films as well.
Yeah.
That or like Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way is Jingle All the Way is the best. Like,
what was that one? Kindergarten or something like that.
Kindergarten Cop. Yeah, that's sweet as well. But I really like Jingle All the Way. I don't know. I think it's because it's got the wrestler, The Big Show in it. That's probably the reason why. Predator, yeah, it's a given. Xander, come on.
Predator.
It's not Jingle All the Way, though, is it? It's not got Little Orphan Annie in it, has it, Xander?
Fucking hell. I'm starting to run out of movies now, I think. I think a lot of the movies that I don't
Predator
think...
2 is the best film, Connor. Predator 2 is the best film.
Dark Man, have you seen that? That's fucking hilarious.
I don't think so, no.
Liam Neeson. It's all worth it for this bit at the beginning where he's in a science lab in a building and it explodes and you just get a big scream as he gets fucking wrecked in the explosion. It's fucking hilarious.
Sweet.
Gattaca, Lawnmower Man, Blade Runner. I've got a little list popping now.
Lawnmower Man.
Do you like that movie?
I've never heard of it, but it sounds interesting.
It would be too whack for you, man.
Right.
Too whack for you. It's like about this scientist who's developing like VR, and then like he's got this guy who's got mental disabilities, and he's an adult, and he just cuts people's grass, and then he brings them in, and he's like, yeah, I can make you smarter with my VR, and then like he goes mentally smart, and then like the end of the film is just fucking bonkers. Like, I'll YouTube it and just look at some of the clips.
American Pie 2 in the comments. Yes! American Pie. Raunchy film, that Des lad.
It's fucking classic film though. It's a part of your teenage years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good, man.
I remember my brother showing me that.
The film with Annie getting pregnant. I've not seen it, but I do. I think Danny DeVito's in that one as well.
I don't know if I know that one.
Oh, it's ridiculous. He's wearing glasses.
Batman. Bro, we haven't talked about 12 Monkeys. That's an amazing fucking Terry Gilliam movie that's also serious. So, although it's not current world.
Uh-huh.
You seen it?
12 Monkeys? I've not seen that, no. I've never heard of it.
Well, you've not even heard of it, bro.
Harry, Google this film where Annie's pregnant. Xander needs the answer.
Alright, somebody else...
It's called Junior. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
How come no one mentioned Commando? It's probably a B-list movie when it comes to...
Alright, so tomorrow's guest, I'm going to do another live stream. I'm going to try and do live streams every day at 9 to 10. Tomorrow's guest is going to be Connor, and we're going to be talking about horror movies, chatting shit. We're going to be chatting about his band and the transition that they might be making, which some of you might know about. You know about that?
About what?
Hydra's having a little rebrand.
Yeah, I've heard. So that'd be sweet. Hopefully, I'll probably check it and see what he's saying.
Yeah.
It should be good. One sec. Sam Vallo's asked, how many people other than Cryptic Shifft played the part in the songs that will be on this stage from Salas? No one. Definitely not Bono Stobart. Short Circuit, good film. from what I remember at youth.
Short Circuit with the little robot, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna kick that robot's head in nowadays. It looks well known.
That was something that my brother watched. So I haven't seen that since I was a kid because he was watching it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that robot looks annoying as fuck.
What looks
I don't
annoying?
know. That robot from Short Circuit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It looks like it'd test my patience.
What about, have you ever watched Soylent Green? Because I couldn't. That's a famous sci-fi movie.
I tell you what's good,
though. It just looks so dull, but apparently it's great.
What's good and is, I guess, sci-fi. Small Soldiers, that is a classic. That is a classic, yeah.
Oh my god, man.
Boomer Wally. Yes. Nah, fucking Small Soldiers is a classic, man. I always wanted, like, the action figures of those as a kid.
Brother, I had them.
Oh, you had them? Shit,
Yeah.
I didn't know you could get them, man.
Yeah.
They did, like, move around and do shit while, you know.
Well, not on their own, no, but they were, like, I don't know what the word for it is now, but, you know, you could move their limbs so you could put them in different places. And they were quite big, man. Like, you know, like, you hold it in your fucking hand and, like, they stood up well. They were fun.
That's sick.
I love them. I was big into toys when I was a kid, and, like, for a long time I didn't throw away. I threw away a lot of them now, but I still have some of my toys. Like, I might have, like, all my He-Man toys still, I think.
Sweet. Nah, that's killer, man. I was fucking, like, dead into, like, wrestling figures and all that shit. I had a lot of Star Wars figures. And a lot of Star Wars Lego. Because Star Wars Lego was sick back then. It was expensive, right? That was like a wait till Christmas kind of...
We never ever had like a Lego set. We just had the mix. Bike and Mice from Mars. Fuck yeah. Oh my god, that was so sick. And what was that cartoon with the sharks that were like fucking metals? Did you remember that? They wore like fucking cut off shorts and they were like half, like they had legs, but then there was shark on top. They were
that means nothing to me. I don't know.
Right. Anybody else that's watching, maybe they were watching, somebody will know. That cartoon was sick. I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had a lot of their figurines as well. I fucking love them. Yeah.
Did you have the sewer?
Huh?
The sewer? I remember there was like a sewer play set with Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
that, like, opened up and they had like the subway train.
Yeah.
Like, that was sweet.
I had April's like big yellow van, I think, and then I had all the turtles, and then I had like multiple. You know, you get different fucking ones and that.
Yeah, that's sick.
Different releases.
Sam Villa, were there any funky microphone techniques used in the recording of Visitations from Saldus?
People, we're getting some proper questions. I was hoping to do some Q&As at the end, so should we dedicate this time to...
If you want, man, we got 5 minutes. I don't know personally about the funky microphone techniques used. Xander's probably better to know about that because as far as drums are concerned, it was a pretty traditional setup when it came to the microphone techniques. I think there was some random stuff getting used on the guitar tones. I think Xander used a metal dog bowl and like put that so like it resonated when we were reamping the guitar parts and stuff and like the solos and stuff like that. But he's probably the one to talk about that. I spent a lot of the time when I weren't playing the drums asleep in the studio. So I was there, but I was probably asleep or drunk. So I don't really remember too well.
I mean, that's what it is. Hard work on your day, and then when it's not your day, it's time to get wrecked and watch the other people work really fucking hard.
Well, it took us like 2 years to finish it off, but it was about a year and a half.
Yeah. Yes, there is, Connor.
Drunk and sleeping. Yeah, Connor, we're releasing a track on the 7th of April, so give or take 2 weeks. I think it's a Tuesday. So look out for that. That's going to be sweet. It's not the 26-minute long song, though. You're going to have to wait until May the 4th for that.
So, people have heard that. They've heard that live. Nobody's heard it on release. How many minutes did you say it was? 24 or 26?
26.
Yeah, because when you played it live, it was 22.
Yeah.
You remember the first?
Maybe like a first minute that's the samples, and we tend to play stuff faster live anyway.
Yeah, and with such a fucking massive song, obviously that builds up a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be fun. I think people are gonna enjoy that.
Yeah, I've heard it a few times when you play it, and a couple of times, and I really liked it. I thought it was fucking awesome, and like to enjoy that live as well, I think is like definitely harder. Like 20-minute songs is like that's like spin the record kind of thing, innit? So like I remember being just front row, just like fucking this is sick, like big 20-minute epic. Do you know what I mean? So that was good, man. I think people would dig it. You've got a lot of attention so far. I've seen loads of people sharing it, and you've had a few
good, man.
And shit as well.
Cheers to everyone who's like pre-ordered. I'm expecting to receive the test presses of the vinyl tomorrow, so hopefully it sounds good, and we can keep the ball rolling from there to fourth.
What's the merch that's dropping?
What's that?
What's the merch that's dropping? With the album?
We're going to be doing a couple of new merch designs. Just kind of going through with just seeing what's going to be arranged, really. But
have you decided what you want to do yet, or what you want to do?
There's some favorite Star Wars bounty hunter. Probably Bosk. I don't know. It's something about him. Maybe because he's like kind of reptilian. I don't know. What's your favorite Star Wars bounty hunter? That's to Harry and Xander.
Oh, fuck me. I have no idea.
I mean, I should probably know Xander's anyway, but I don't. So, IG-88, nice one, Sam. He's a good bounty hunter, I guess.
I'll be honest, I can't answer that. I don't know him well enough.
Fair. Let's go with Boba Fett, man. Play it safe.
Yeah, like, obviously, Boba Fett is the only one that I would know, like, much about. So,
you know too much into the Star Wars lore?
Like, no, nowhere near as much as you guys. Like, I like Star Wars, but I haven't watched it it has been a couple years since I last watched it. The problem is I just, like, I start to watch it a few times, but it's the fact that, like, it's overwhelming because it's 6 movies, and I want to
just watch The Phantom Menace because it's the best one. And it's the only one worth watching, to be totally honest with you, for various reasons, which I won't go into. All right, Xander, you're gonna pick one, or
you have one. Pick one. Des.
Yeah, Des on Space bit. I'm not gonna do that. So
why not?
You can do it if you can go ahead. What's the hardest pit you've seen?
Huh?
This question from Des.
What's the hardest pit you've seen? Fuck. I'm not sure. Oh, bruv. It's a bit lame, but at Slipknot, in 2013, somebody broke their fucking vertebrae, and they had to get a helicopter.
From the pit?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Bro, at the pit. Oh, yeah, I think we're getting kicked. We're getting kicked. I've got a message saying I'm getting kicked off remaining 20 seconds because we've been an hour.
Damn.
Yeah, that's it.
My hardest mosh pit I've seen, Des, is social order in the meat locker because the vocalist threw